I've been drawing for so many years and I've never thought of making my own world because it felt so intimidating. But I wanted to crack down on this and decided to make my own bunny utopia. This is a very simplistic world because I wanted to start off with something that I know I can actually do. I wanted my world to be kind of like My Little Pony, Care Bears, and Hello Kitty. Just everything really cutesy, very pastel colors, and I just really enjoy that kind of world and I wanted to make one myself. I started off with the most simple thing and that was the bunny design. This is the biggest structure out of everything that's gonna happen in this world. So I truly thought that I was gonna make like 50 designs of bunnies to see which one I truly liked, but after the second one I designed, I absolutely fell in love with the human-like body but also a big head like a bunny. I still think I'm gonna keep the first design for maybe like the chibi versions of them because I thought that both of them were just really cute. I had no clue where else to start after I made the bunny design, so instead of just getting stuck on this story, I just decided to make an OC in this bunny world. At this point, it started really solidifying that I do love the bunny design, and so I started making my OC kind of just like very pink, very pastel, and just the things I would really love in a personality. With her, I knew I wanted someone that had the Napoleon colors, and I don't know why, but I always go for these color combinations because it's just my favorite. I wanted my first bunny to be my most favorite, so I just chose everything that I absolutely liked just so that I can get a feel of how I want these bunnies to turn out. After I designed her, I did make a Google slide just for her so I can focus on both the bunny world and her personality in separate places. Names are the hardest part for me, so I tried to interlink her personality to the name she has. With her personality, I wanted her to be a dreamer and a romance fanatic, but always stays in her room instead of finding her own love story. Her goal is to become more social and try to go on dates with other bunnies, but things don't go well. I made sure I found at least 3 that I absolutely loved. I found Yumi, which means dream in Japanese, Alora, dreamer in Latin, and Kalpana, which means dream or imagination in Sanskrit. I really liked Alora and Kalpana, but I went for Kalpana since I really liked the idea of her having nicknames like Kalpa or Anna. Alora was my other favorite choice, but it seems less unique, which isn't bad, but I also wanted a name that was super memorable. I'm just totally spewing out ideas for now since I know that solidifying something too quick can make the story get stuck. Her personality isn't solid, but I wanted Kalpa to struggle with social anxiety, which makes her have to work from home and to not have as many interactions with others, but she does have childhood friends that check on her from time to time. I love experimenting, so I moved on from Kalpa and wanted to draw a group of friends. I had no clue where I was going with this, but I just knew I wanted to draw more bunnies and see which ones I've liked the most. I was first thinking that I was just gonna draw 1 or 2 just to have Kalpa have friends, but then I started rolling down into this hill of just wanting to design these bunnies, and so I made 5 more of them. At this point, I started to really have a lot of fun with this bunny world. Even though I didn't have the world set, I just knew that I was falling in love with these bunny designs, and I just had to work extra harder at designing the plot. You can see me totally dancing around the colors and trying to pick the best ones that I thought would suit their fur coats. So it was just a lot of fun trying to pick out the colors. Some of them just stayed the same, but I knew that there was some that just didn't fit their color combos. But at the same time, I actually really liked them. After waiting a few minutes and looking back at them, I thought they were really cute. I knew before I went further with the story, I wanted to draw boy bunnies too. I didn't really change much for them. I just changed their hip shape to be a lot more flatter than the girls because the girls have a curvier shape because of our hips being bigger. I just wanted to make them a little bit flatter, but I did want boy bunnies too because I felt it would be fun to have them in relationships with some of them. It's very rare for me to draw men, so I don't really have a style for them, so I was searching so hard for male styles and outfits. I for sure didn't do too bad, but I'm for sure tweaking the outfits once I do a little more research. For right now, my thoughts are that they're not going to be the main characters too much. I just think that they're going to be kind of their boyfriends, and some of them just are going to hang out around them, but they're not going to be really much of a main character, so they don't have to be that special. After I drew the men though, I started designing a lot more of the bunnies and how they would look like in my art style. I think for now I'm only going to show one of the speed paints from these pictures because there were so many of them and it would just take too much time to show each one of them, but I did design them into a way that it shows a little bit of their personality. I haven't really written about who they are or how they connect to the story of Kalpas, but I did just want them all to be friends and also them all to have very opposite personalities. bunnies. Here is them all designed in my art style, and now we can get back into the bunny world story. I started off building a map just so that I know where everything is going to go. I think this is the best way to know where the land is and also where the mountains are going to be and what kind of area they're going to be living in. I forgot to add, but with me wanting to build a variety of worlds, I want all of them to be in the same earth. So what I have to do is not revolve the world around the bunnies, but instead make a little tiny land for them. It's so on the nose to make it a bunny, but I thought it was a really cute concept, especially with them being super cliche of being pastel and cute. I just didn't want to make it really realistic, and so I just went with the bunny because I thought it was really adorable. Now that I finally drew the land that they were gonna live in, I can mark the places that the bunnies are going to live in, and also the areas that are gonna be the richest and the poorest, and also just a lot of the things that are like beaches and mountains. All those things I'm gonna start adding to in my Google Slides. I am not gonna show the full process of what I'm doing in these Google Slides, but I wanted to show a little bit just so you can see how I'm organizing my stuff. After I got a vague idea of how the bunny island is going to be, I decided to move on and make some roles in this bunny land. In this land, I do want a lot of castles and fantasy-based things, but at the same time, I do want police officers, firefighters, nurses, those kinds of things. So to start off this process, I decided to make my own police uniform. I based them around the ones that I usually see in the USA, but I thought they were really cute like this and very simple, but I always wanted to simplify them because they're not going to be the main characters. I did leave a little space so that I could write down in my Google Slides what they're going to be and what they are going to do. The cops don't really have to do a lot because the bunny world is supposed to be kind of a utopia, but they still do minimize the danger of bunnies being aggressive with each other. I did make an outfit design for a firefighter, nurse, and doctor just so that I have some sort of vision of how I want them to look. Instead of putting them in two different slides, I decided to just merge them all together since they're not going to be that valuable in the storyline. They're just going to be very minimal side characters, so I don't want to implement too much on them. Okay, so this is going to be the last thing I do for this video because I think I'm going to make many parts of this instead of just making one full video of this world. I'm going to be building it up little by little. This world isn't solid yet, and I would love to know your guys' opinions on it. So if you have any sort of suggestions for me, please write them down below. Right now I'm just drawing this bunny princess. I think the princesses or the queens royalty should have long ears. I don't know, it just reminds me of My Little Pony with alicorns because they're special, and so that's what I wanted to kind of implement in this. I don't really have a set way that I'm going to write this world. I don't know if it's going to be through pictures or it's going to be written, or if I'm going to try to animate stuff. I'm very new to animation, but I do want to try. But out of them, most likely I will make mini comics of these bunnies. Here's the picture of her, and I do not have a name for her, so if you want to name her, please drop them down below. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. This project is going to take a while, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I think what I need to do is just write mini comics and see how that goes. But that's for the future, because right now I do just want to solidify the structure of this world.